Once upon a time, in a small town nestled among the rolling hills, stood an old Victorian house on Maple Street. It was a house that whispered secrets and harbored mysteries, a house that the townsfolk spoke of in hushed tones, warning children to stay away. Legend had it that the house was cursed, haunted by the restless spirits of its former inhabitants. Stories circulated about strange noises, emanating from within its decaying walls, about shadows that moved when no one was looking, about cold drafts that chilled visitors to the bone. Despite the warnings, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to investigate the house one fateful night. Armed with flashlights and nerves of steel, they crept up the overgrown path and pushed open the creaking front door. The air inside was heavy with the scent of dampness and decay. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling like macabre chandeliers, and dust motes danced in the dim light. The teenagers exchanged nervous glances, but pressed on, their curiosity overcoming their fear. As they explored the abandoned rooms, they felt an oppressive presence watching their every move. Footsteps echoed in the empty halls, and whispers brushed against their ears like ghostly fingers. They stumbled upon a staircase that led down into the darkness, and against their better judgment, they descended into the abyss. In the basement, they discovered a hidden chamber, its walls adorned with cryptic symbols and faded paintings. A chill ran down their spines as they realized they were not alone. Something unseen lurked in the shadows, a malevolent force that hungered for their souls. Panic set in as they scrambled to escape the house, but the doors were sealed shut, trapping them inside with the entity that dwelled within. Desperate, they searched for a way out, but every path led deeper into the heart of darkness. Just when all hope seemed lost, they stumbled upon a forgotten cellar door hidden beneath a pile of debris. With trembling hands, they pushed it open and fled into the night, leaving behind the haunted house on Maple Street and the horrors that lay within. To this day, the teenagers refuse to speak of their ordeal, their minds scarred by the terrors they witnessed. But the house still stands, a silent sentinel on Maple Street, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to wander into its grasp, and the whispers of the past echo through its halls, a reminder of the true horror that lurks within its walls. Deep in the heart of the forest, where the trees loom tall and the shadows grow thick, lies a place few dare to tread, the Whispering Woods. It's said that once you enter, the trees themselves speak to you, their voices a haunting melody that lures travelers deeper into their embrace. One moonlit night, a group of friends ventured into the forest, their laughter echoing through the dense undergrowth. They had heard the tales of the Whispering Woods, but dismissed them as mere superstition, eager for adventure and thrills. As they wandered deeper into the forest, the air grew heavy with an unnatural stillness. The usual cacophony of chirping crickets and rustling leaves fell silent, replaced by an eerie quiet that sent shivers down their spines. Suddenly, they heard it, a faint whispering that seemed to emanate from the very trees themselves. At first, they brushed it off as a trick of the wind, but as they pressed on, the whispers grew louder, more insistent, almost pleading. Unable to resist the lure of the mysterious voices, the friends followed the sound deeper into the heart of the forest. The trees seemed to close in around them, their branches twisting and contorting like gnarled fingers reaching out to ensnare them. Before long, they found themselves in a clearing bathed in moonlight, surrounded by ancient trees that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. It was then that they saw her, a spectral figure dressed in tattered robes, her eyes hollow and filled with sorrow. The apparition beckoned to them, her voice a mere whisper in the night. Mesmerized, the friends stepped forward, drawn inexplicably to the ghostly figure before them. But as they reached out to touch her, the forest erupted in a cacophony of sound. The trees groaned and creaked, their branches thrashing wildly as if in protest. And with a sudden gust of wind, the apparition vanished, leaving the friends alone in the darkness. Terrified, they fled from the whispering woods, their hearts pounding in their chests. They never spoke of their encounter again, but the memory of that fateful night haunted their dreams for years to come. To this day, the whispering woods remain shrouded in mystery, their secrets known only to those brave enough to venture into their depths. But beware, for once you enter, you may never escape the whispers that echo through the trees. In the remote countryside, nestled atop a hill shrouded in mist, stood Hollow Hill Manor, an imposing mansion with a dark past, built centuries ago by a wealthy aristocrat. The manor had been the site of unspeakable horrors that echoed through the ages. Legend had it that the original owner, Lord Nathaniel Holloway, was a cruel and tyrannical man who ruled over his estate with an iron fist. Tales of his brutality spread far and wide, and the locals whispered of dark rituals performed within the manor's walls. As the years passed, the manor fell into disrepair, its once grand halls now filled with dust and decay. But despite its dilapidated state, Hollow Hill Manor remained a place of dread, its very presence casting a shadow over the surrounding countryside. One stormy night, a group of thrill-seekers ventured to the manor, drawn by tales of its haunted past. Ignoring the warnings of the locals, they made their way up the winding path to the imposing gates that guarded the entrance. As they stepped into the foyer, they were greeted by a chill that seemed to seep into their bones. The air was thick with the scent of mold and decay, and the faint sound of footsteps echoed in the empty halls. Undeterred, the group pressed on, their flashlights casting long shadows against the walls. But as they explored the manor's labyrinthine corridors, they felt an oppressive presence watching their every move, a malevolent force that seemed to feed on their fear. In one of the upper chambers, they stumbled upon a room shrouded in darkness, its walls adorned with faded tapestries and ancient portraits. As they approached, they heard a blood-curdling scream that seemed to emanate from within the very walls themselves. Panic set in as they realized they were not alone. Shadows danced in the corners of the room, and a cold wind whispered through the cracked windows. Desperate to escape, they raced for the exit, but the doors slammed shut before them, trapping them inside the haunted manor. For hours, they wandered the darkened halls, pursued by unseen forces that seemed hell-bent on their destruction. But just as all hope seemed lost, they stumbled upon a hidden staircase that led to the cellar below. With trembling hands, they pushed open the cellar door and fled into the night, leaving behind the haunted halls of Hollow Hill Manor and the horrors that lurked within. But their ordeal was far from over, for even now, The echoes of their screams can still be heard on stormy nights, a chilling reminder of the true terror that lies within Hollow Hill Manor.